Hi, today's video is what is end-to-end encryption, and for this video I've got some slides, so let me just move over here a bit and I'll show you some slides. So let's assume we've got two different people, call them client 1 and client 2, and they want to talk to each other. They want to send messages to each other. The first problem they have is that they may not easily be able to find each other because the internet's a big place and it's not always easy to do that. So what are they going to do? Well, they may use a messaging service, and that has a server in the middle which will send messages from client 1 via itself to client 2, and then from client 2 via itself to client 1. So that's fine, right? And the problem is that we want to have these things encrypted, but in this mechanism, one way of doing it would be, okay, we'll say that the client 1 will encrypt the messages to the server will decrypt them and then send them on encrypted under a different key to client 2, and then send them back again, unencrypt them itself, and then send it along to client 1. The problem, of course, here is that at some point those messages are unencrypted in the server. And that means that we have a problem if we don't trust whoever's operating that server. They're a bad person for whatever reason. So let's look at a couple of examples of things that might happen. So the first would be what we call a man-in-the-middle attack, and I've done a video on this. I'll link to it in the description. And here we, let's say the client 1 is saying attack at dawn, and that is changed by the server. Remember, the server is not trusted. They're a bad actor. And so they've changed it to attack at noon. So the client says, oh yeah, that sounds fine. Okay, sends it along, and it's sent back to client 1. And now client 1 and client 2 have got different understandings of what's going to happen. Client 1 thinks that client 2 is going to attack at dawn, but client 2 is expecting to attack at noon instead, because the server has done a man-in-the-middle attack and done some bad stuff. So that's the first use case, which is pretty bad, but we have another one as well. So what if we have a government which is going to enforce regulations on the server and say, you know what, I need you to do things. I need you to take every message and record it and then send it to me. So maybe we wanted to be doing things like saying, expose the politician, and all of that information has been saved, and now those politicians, who may be bad people, they have that information, and they can now do something about it, which probably they shouldn't be able to do. If client 1 and client 2 wanted to do this, maybe they're lawyers, they wanted to do this, or journalists, secretly in ways that will stop them being arrested, for instance, which seems like a sensible thing. So what we really need to do is do end-to-end encryption. So at no point are the messages decrypted, and the server can't decrypt them. And so this is what we want to do, and this is what end-to-end encryption looks like. And where we have the client 1 and client 2, they are the ones that provide the encryption between each other, rather than it being sorted out by the server who does the decryption. And of course, this means that not only can the server not do bad things, but also it can say to governments, look, there's nothing I can do. I'm unable to decrypt it. I can't tell you if things that are happening which you don't like. And that makes some governments upset and worried, and I can see why, because sometimes client 1 and client 2 may be criminals, but on the other hand, there may be very, very good reasons for them to be able to be passing information secretly. Maybe it's business transactions, maybe it's these sorts of things I talked about where we've people trying to fight for social justice. And so end-to-end encryption is really important for many use cases, and when you're looking to choose an encryption service, my advice is always choose something which is end-to-end encrypted. So that's end-to-end encryption. I hope that was useful. If you've got questions about this or any other topic to do with cybersecurity, please get in touch. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel. I'll do what I can to help.